Hey, it's Nina Chantele from 104.3 My FM and iHeartRadio. And I'm here at San Antonio Winery in Los Angeles, the home of Stella Rosa, for the first episode of the Stellabration Education Show. And we're going to be teaching you a fun new skill to learn on each episode. So while we sip, because hello, that's what we do best, and chat about Stella Rosa wines, you'll be learning today's topic. It's our first episode, so this is what we're doing, Knitting 101. And we're gonna be teaching you how to knit a wine carrier so that you can hold your favorite Stella Rosa wines. Now, before we get started, we've got a couple of very important people that we want you to meet. Now, I'm here, like I said, at the winery, and my girl Audrey is also here. She's the first one I want you to meet. She's the PR coordinator at the San Antonio Winery, and she's gonna be doing the knitting while I do all the sipping because she's the professional and we're socially distanced. So are you excited to knit, girlfriend, while I sip?
Heck yeah.
Well,
I got like too excited.
Last but not least, we're also, doing the Zoom thing because that's what we do. Although it is 2021, it's still a thing. So last but not least, I'd like to introduce you to our phenomenal knitting expert. She is beautiful, super cool. Her name is Annette, and she is very talented. Also the owner of local knitting and yarn store, the Knitting Tree LA in Inglewood. Hey, gorgeous.
Hi.
So what are we going to be doing with you today, Annette?
We are going to be making wine cozies or carriers, and it's a real basic pattern. So all you have to do is know the knit stitch, and we're ready to go.
Well, first of all, I just love the array of your yarn store behind you, and the earrings, girlfriend, are giving me life. Are those scissors?
They are. They're made by a local artist, Children of the Rice, and she's a graphic designer who also is an avid knitter. So she makes accessories and tools and earrings and all kinds of stuff.
I love it. You're just so adorable, and your skin is fantastic.
It's the lighting.
All right, well, listen, while we're going to be doing all this, I know I can't wait. So remember, if you get lost at all, like we're talking to her through the Zoom situation. Of course, we've got Audrey over here. She's going to be knitting. And if you get lost at all, the full instructions for this project, along with the downloadable patterns, are available on stellarosa.com. And we've got some special announcements later during the show, so don't miss out on those either. So how about I get my wine so that we can get started, but we've got to do the toast first, all right? Let's start with the Stella Rosa Ruby Rose Grapefruit. Thank you so much. Megan's giving me my glasses like I'm a little professional over here. So juicy grapefruit, this Ruby Rose Grapefruit, low cal, just like we always do, gluten-free like all Stella Rosa wines, and slightly more tart than most Stella Rosa. So I highly recommend for those of you who like something a little less sweet, with the same flavor as biting into a grapefruit. So just have that imagination. This wine actually pairs amazingly with seafood, just like Chef Ray always gives me the most amazing salmon. Also salty appetizers, even breakfast foods, because I had it with brunch the other day. I was astonished about how delicious it was. So also, just so you know, it comes in cans. Ta-da! And you can make sure to ask your local retailer for availability, but I want to make a toast with my girls, Annette at your store in Inglewood, Audrey, while you're over there getting your knitting on, and to you at home while you're getting prepared and you've got everything together. You also know that we're knitting and sipping, so that means we've got to have our Stella Rosa. Are you ready to take your sip? I'm letting you pour. Take your time. All right, guys, I'm going to make a toast to us. First of all, to our first Stellabration education, Knitting 101 with the fabulous Annette, who knows exactly what she's doing. And Audrey is one of the funnest young ladies that I know. And I'm just going to be sipping while I'm learning over here. And to those of you at home, hey, I haven't talked to you since the beginning of the new year. So although people say it's too late to say Happy New Year, it's not when I haven't seen you. So Feliz Año Nuevo, Happy New Year, and salud, salud, salud.
Cheers.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. Not to get off subject, but this actually reminds me of those grapefruits where when you're on vacation and like you actually order like a breakfast that comes to your room service and you get the fruit and then they actually have the bougie like half grapefruit where you kind of salt it on there with a spoon. That's what I'm feeling right now, like I'm on vacation at a bougie hotel.
It's really refreshing.
Sorry, I had to get that out there. All right, Annette, now that we've got our sipping in together, I'll be sipping and watching you guys and learning. I want you to explain the first step and casting onto Audrey so that you guys can get everybody started at home as well.
Cool. Well, when you're knitting, you're passing stitches from one stick to the next, one needle to the next. So the first thing you have to do is put the loops on the needle. That's called casting on. So you want to get a tail. You want to measure a tail that's 3 times the width of your project. So I'm going to start with the 3-inch wide bottom. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3. Make a slip knot. That's like that. So you have a little bit of loop. You put your tail on your left and the ball on your right. This is called a long tail cast on because you are casting on with this tail. So this is going to get eaten up. So it looks like an upside down V. You're going to grab it from the outside. So not like this. You're going to grab it from here. And then you're going to open up with your thumb and index finger. So it's like this, like bang, bang.
You are a good teacher because you're making it easier than what I've seen on YouTube videos. Okay, continue, girlfriend. And by the way, fabulous tattoos as you continue on. Go ahead, girlfriend. Yeah.
All right, so you grab on, open up like a slingshot, you lower it, and then you're going to go under the one that's closest to your thumb, over the one on your index finger, and bring it right back through. Then you just let go of the yarn on your thumb, and you're back in again. So again, it's grab, open, lower, under, over, back through. So for the bottom, we're just making a square. We're not going to bother with a circle because you can't really even tell on the bottom. You can kind of mold it into a circle as you're sewing it together. So again, we're going to grab these 2 strands, open them up. I always say, like, this looks like a tent to me, right? So we're going to pretend it's a tent, and these are the doors of the tent. So you grab the doors, open them up, lower down, under, over, back through, let go of your thumb goes back inside the tent, and you're ready for the next one.
Good teacher.
Cast on, we're doing 14 for the base. If you want to start with the body, you can do that too. The body is 40 stitches.
You got that, Audrey? While you guys are doing that, I really have to say, she said the tent. Let me tell you, I have a story about back in the day when, like, one time my dad, like, we were going across the country. It was really random because it was when it was just maps. Like, there wasn't even MapQuest to, like, print that out. Okay, this is a long time ago. I don't know how parents used to be able to do it. Like, they would literally go across country from, like, I'm talking driving from, like, Chicago to, like, Arizona. Okay, so fast forward to my dad decides. Now, in hindsight, sorry, Dad, I'm busting you out, but Mom said you were being cheap. So my dad's like, let's have some fun. Let's stop at the nearest store. This is why you guys are still getting do you want to give somebody, let somebody know what they need to be doing right now in case I'm interrupting the teaching, or can I continue on with my story while you guys are doing that?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so my dad's like, let's stop at the store. We'll get a tent. We'll make it fun. We'll have an adventure. It was one of those, like, Yellowstone National Parks or something like that, you know, like, I think it was like Yogi Bear or something. So whatever. We get the tent. Nobody knows how to pitch the tent, okay? And the doors that you were saying that you need to, like, look at the tent and then you think of the door and whatever, just reminded me of it rained that night. It didn't go over well. The tent, the doors, all of the scenario, not good. We all got wet. Guess where we ended up sleeping? In the car, because we had to end up going to find a hotel, and it was so far from where we already were. It was a whole thing. But memories like that, you know, when you're a kid, like, now we get to talk about it and laugh about it. But now I was a little traumatized when you were talking about your little tent and you put the...
I'm assuming you guys didn't go on family camping trips after
We did not do any camping after that. To be honest with you, do I even look like the kind of girl that likes bugs or anything like that? No, I do not.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I'm not the outdoorsy type. It's got to be a glam camp or
Glamping.
something. Yeah. All right, so how's it going? You guys doing good there?
Got my 14.
All right, well, take it on. You're the instructor. I'm just...
So after you cast on, you're going to start in your left hand. So you put it in your left hand, you have a front of the stitch and a back of the stitch, and it's separated by this knot. The knot faces your right. You take your other needle, you're going to go into the front of the loop only, and you cross it to the back. Then you grab your yarn, the working yarn, which is the yarn that's attached to the needle. And you're going to go around that back needle counterclockwise, like you're stirring soup backwards, like this. Then you're going to bring it back under where you started. And then you take it off. So if you have trouble taking it off, just scoot the other stitches up. So again, under, cross, grab the yarn, counterclockwise, pull it back to the front where you started, and scoot it off. So I say with the little kids, this is a sheepy. Sheepy goes under the fence. The farmer says, hey, get back here. Brings him back under the fence, and then he runs off anyway. Around, back to the front, and off. And you can see that the stitch that was on this needle has now dropped down a row. So all knitting is I'm putting the needle through, I'm making a new loop, I'm locking it down, and then the other stitch comes off, and all those drop stitches become your knitting. So go ahead, and you're going to be knitting every row until you're at 3 inches, and then you're going to bind off. When you're doing the body, you're going to cast on 40 stitches, and you're going to knit for 9 inches. And at 9 inches, we create the eyelet holes that your ribbon goes through. So go ahead and do that, and then I will show you how to do your yarn over knit 2 together.
She's a good teacher, and Audrey, as Chris Jenner would say, you're doing great, sweetie. While you guys are doing that, I say, while you guys are doing it at home as well, you guys want to you have to remember we're knitting and sipping here, so. How about we move on to my favorite, the Stella Rosa Peach. Now, the Stella Rosa Peach is ripe peach, and even though it's not peach season, you can't go wrong with Stella Rosa Peach all year long. Thank you so much, Megan. So refreshing and crisp. This one is so delicious, literally my favorite. It's perfect for mixing cocktails or enjoying it just by itself. Obviously best served chilled like all our Stella Rosas, and vegan. And it also comes in aluminum cans at select retailers, just so you know that. And before we get back, I know that you guys are getting your knitting together right now. I just want to make sure to let you know that I have an exciting announcement to share. Submit this photo, okay, of your wine carrier creation for your chance to win a Taste the Magic gift box. It's going to be filled with Stella Rosa wines and merch. To enter, it's simple. Just upload your final project to our contest page at stellarosawines.com/knitsipwin. And don't worry, we're going to be giving you until March 15th. Hey, that's the day before my sister's birthday, to enter. So you have plenty of time to finish. It's all good. Don't worry. We're not all professionals like Annette. If you get stuck, just make sure to visit stellarosa.com for the full how-to with the downloadable wine carrier patterns. And don't forget to enter again, stellarosawines.com/knitsipwin. Good luck. And now back to Audrey and Annette, but not until we do our little sippy sip with you guys at home. Did you get your next glass? Or maybe you're still sipping on the ruby red grapefruit. That's fine too, but just remember we're knitting and sipping, so let's toast together. All right, to learning some new stuff with the most delicious Stella Rosa wines. Cheers to you in Inglewood at your store, Annette. Audrey, socially distanced. Salud.
Cheers across the room.
Happy knitting.
Sip, yeah.
And everybody who's out there at home, I'm with you inside your home. Like realistically, I'm like toasting to you and I'm hearing the clink. Now, Annette, you want to go ahead to your purl stitch and explain the next steps to Audrey and begin the purl stitch while I sip on my favorite peach? Oh, girlfriend, listen, continue sipping. It is a knit and sip. Do you?
Okay, the first thing I wanted to show you is a real quick lesson on binding off, because once you knit, you have to close it off. So what you do is you have one stitch on your right needle, you knit another one like that, and then you take your left needle into the first one and bring it over the second one. That's called binding off. And then you're just going to keep knitting one.
Annette, I think Audrey has a little question for you.
So I was going to say, so basically you're connecting them as you go, so it just turns into its own little... You're flattening out all the loops. So you're finishing that off. So you don't have live loops here. You have to close it off before you can sew it onto something else.
That sounds like something that was an important question. Good job there, Audrey.
Trying to help out all my beginner friends.
Well, there you go. You're doing great.
Okay, so pass one over the other, and I just have a couple more to go.
While you're doing that, so you're married to one of our friends, to Bruce. He is fantastic, and let me tell you, I've met him, and he speaks so highly of you.
I love my hubby.
I hope so.
He's the best. You know, I was telling you before, it's like I never even thought men like him existed. He is just the sweetest, kindest man, and he is artistic and funny. He makes me laugh every single day.
I hear that's the most important thing in a relationship as well. Companionship. You got to be able to laugh with your partner, you know? Absolutely. And you're giving us singles during, you know, Valentine's Day month and Single Awareness Month. I will tell you, you're telling us singles that there is hope out there to find one.
Absolutely is. And yeah, I will say, there are people out there. What I did, I have to say, is I set an intention. I even like the way he looked, what he was interested in, and I just wouldn't settle for anything.
Amen, girlfriend.
You know, I wrote down, it was like 3 pages, everything I wanted in a relationship. And like a couple of years after we were together, I found that piece of paper and I said, you know, you're not really real. I just conjured you up. But we met dancing tango, and it was just so romantic. And
Audrey, I feel like you kind of know the story. I feel like he may have shared that with you.
I feel like I want to hear Annette's version because, you know, you always get the guy's version. And let me tell you, when Bruce tells it, it's adorable. But I want to know.
I'm down with what Audrey said. Go ahead, Annette.
I want to compare.
Don't forget, if you need to give some advice to people at home still doing that pearl stitch, feel free while you're still giving us the tango story.
On your last stitch, you have a loop here. So you're just going to grab your yarn and pull it through like that. So your piece looks like this. This is going to be the bottom of your little wine cozy.
Oh.
Okay, so you should also cast on for the body, knit till you're at 9 inches. I can show you how to do the yarn over knit two together, but first let me tell you about Bruce.
Yes, take your wine. Hey, this is a time for a sip while we're knitting, you guys.
Keep sipping.
Okay.
I had to get a second job because unfortunately my first husband, yeah, it was a problem, but there was a support issue and all that. It's water under the bridge, but I needed to get a second job. I had been on my own for a while, and Bruce was looking to impress a woman that he was infatuated with.
Oh.
He wanted to learn how to dance tango to surprise her because she was a tango dancer.
Oh my gosh, this is so the wedding planner. Go on.
It's so corny. Like
I'll be the J-Lo.
I think this can't be real. So anyway, we had to dance together in class. So we danced a lot before we even spoke to each other. And I was like, ooh, who's that cutie patootie?
Oh my gosh.
He was way younger than me. And I thought he was just adorable. And he had an energy about him.
So you're saying you're the cougar. Yes, Annette.
He just lit up the room. So I was very smitten, and he invited me to a restaurant that he was general manager of. And I was like, okay, I'll be there. And then I kissed him.
Oh my God, yes!
See, your story has way better details.
See, sometimes you got to make those moves, ladies. Don't be shy. Let me tell you something.
I was like, I want him. He is awesome.
That's right. And you created him on paper.
Forget that. Come over here.
Yes, girl. You created the man on paper. You were like, look here, I'm going to be a cougar to that young poppy. So that's all good.
He's the best. And we both said we got little tingles down our spine. And then he says, oh, I want some more of that.
Oh, and a sip and toast to that one while we're knitting and sipping, guys.
We started dancing and we never stopped.
Aww.
So forget the woman that he forgot about the infatuated lady.
Totally. And then he's so sweet. He said to me, I have to tell you, I have feelings for this woman. And I said, well, you go ahead and you keep having your feelings, but I'm right here and we're having a blast. So you go ahead, you keep having feelings for her. And we all knew what happened.
Okay.
Totally forgot her.
Annette, I have to say that I've met you through a camera, but I totally want to hang out with you when we can in real life, when things open back up safely. You are just my vibe, because you know what? I'm a woman who's like that. You got to just, closed mouths don't get fed. And some men need that. They need that extra little push. Like, you know, you wanted to make a move. Quit being scared. We're here.
All the men.
Like, I'm getting old.
Sorry, gentlemen that are at home. We are still toasting to you. We're just saying.
I do have to say, Annette's story has better details, but Bruce's story might be a little cuter. So I'd say everyone should come into the wine shop and make Bruce tell them the story.
Oh my God, that would be fantastic. As we're knitting and sipping, and thank you so much for sharing that, I want to make sure that people are doing well at home with their knitting right now. So is there something else that you need to say? Or?
Yes. So at this point on the body, so the body is 40 stitches wide. We're going to create the eyelet holes where you can weave your ribbon through. Because that's going to be the final thing, is you're going to weave a ribbon through, or whatever you want. You could do a piece of leather, you can do whatever you want. So to create the eyelet holes, you're going to knit 6 and do what's called a yarn over, and then knit 2 stitches together. So let me show you that real quick. So we're going to knit 6 stitches. So 1.
I am not as good as Annette, and mine is still on the tiny little one.
2, 3, 4, and you're going to do this every 6 stitches. So there's my 6. Now to do a yarn over, you just bring your yarn to the front. So normally when you knit a stitch, your yarn is in the back. When you leave it in the front and then knit the next stitch, you get this funny little stitch right here, and it creates a hole. So that, I don't know if you could see it. And then you'll knit that funny crooked stitch on the next one. So again, after you, oh, let me take that out. So you do your yarn over, and then you knit 2 stitches together, because the issue is that the yarn over is an increase. You're going to increase the amount of stitches. So you have to decrease by knitting 2 stitches together as if they're one.
Do you still knit it? So you would put it through 2 in the front, so the needle goes behind, and then because you have the yarn in the front, you still have to do it counterclockwise around the back?
Yes, so it creates an extra wrap. So here, I'll just do another one real quick for you here.
Good question, Audrey.
She's full of good questions.
Right?
I get confused easily.
I take the yarn, I bring it through to the front, and then I'm going to knit 2 stitches together as if they're one. But since my yarn was in the front, it's going to create an eyelet hole. So that's what you're going to weave your ribbon through when you're all done. There's your eyelet hole. So you're going to knit 6, yarn over, knit 2 together, all the way across the row. And your last yarn over, knit 2 together will be on the very end. Okay?
Awesome.
Got it, guys? You guys good?
Got it.
You want to continue sipping while you're knitting? Should we move on to sip number 3, or do you have more that you need to add to that, Annette?
Oh, after you do your yarn over, knit 2 together, you're going to knit for another 3 inches. And then bind off, and we'll be ready to sew it together.
Woo! Got it? Got it, guys? Doing good at home there? You ready to sip on the next one? You want to move over to Stella Rosa Red while you're still getting in, because she said you have to still continue to do your rows and all that, so might as well, you know.
We're ready.
Yeah, okay. Let's go to Stella Rosa Red. Thank you so much, Megan. This glass is fantastic. I might have to take it home with me.
Me too.
This is cute. Isn't that cute? Okay.
I have a wine sippy cup that one of my customers made me.
Is that a butterfly on it?
It is.
That's adorable.
Butterfly, and she painted the whole thing.
You've got artistic friends.
Sippy cup top for it, but I didn't want to, act like a toddler.
She's like, I'm going to go for my Stella Rosa Red right now. Though this is ripe raspberry, okay? Wild strawberry and red plum. If you go ahead and sip it, you can smell all of them. I definitely smell the red plum and the raspberry. And
Wow, that is good.
right, you taste all of the vibrant flavors that I just talked about, but gluten-free, low cal, because mama's still trying to watch those pandemic pounds, and best served chilled. Our flavor of the month is not Nina Chantele, although single, and happy. No, I'm just joking. This is our flavor of the month here, okay? The red. Our flavor of the month, like all Stella Rosa wines, it pairs fantastically with just about any dish, but especially chocolate. Now, red tastes amazing by itself, but it's also perfect for mixing cocktails too. My personal favorite Stella Rosa red cocktail is the Stella Rosa slush. I know you're like, Nina, how do you make that? What's in that? Don't you worry. After the show, you can go to stellarosa.com for the Stella Rosa slush recipe and so many others. And you can also ask your local retailer for availability. Believe me, you definitely want to do that. Am I right, ladies? Did you already sip on your red?
Hey.
Cheers.
Yummy. Cheers.
All right. Well, are you guys finishing up there? I want to show some completed patterns. I am so proud to show off my friend Audrey's completed pattern. Look how cute it is. And remember when Annette was teaching and she was saying the very bottom was what she was showing on camera when she was teaching how to do it? Look how well she did. Did really good.
Nice work, Audrey.
And you added a little flair with a little ribbon. I like it. Yeah. Now, are you going to show us a little bit? Okay, yes. I love it.
This one's mine.
Yes.
And I like it because you can put the collar up if you want, or you can put it down. I say collar because it reminds me of like it's wearing a sweater.
It does look like it.
Ribbon goes through the eyelets and then it's wrapped around again. Like I said, if you want to knit another thin piece, you can use that as the ribbon. You can do a little piece of leather. You can do yarn, whatever. You can fancy it up however you want.
I like your color scheme.
Thank you. This is the second pattern that will be available on the blog as well. It's a little bit more challenging. It's got knits and purls in it, and there's a little bit of embroidery I did in honor of San Antonio Winery.
It's beautiful.
Some grapes.
Look at you adding the spice.
You could wear it down and it looks like it's collegiate wearing a sweater.
Wow, it's cute. Gosh, okay, clearly that's an advanced one. If you guys want to get a little bit more challenged, Annette will help you out. Yeah, well, okay, so you, just so you know, can download these custom wine carrier patterns. They're created by the beautiful, talented, amazing, and how fun is she, Annette, on stellarosa.com. And don't forget to submit a pic of your final masterpiece to our contest page at stellarosawines.com/knitsipwin for your chance to win. Now, you can visit Stella Rosa's Instagram. If you're not following us, please do so and tag us at Stella Rosa or Facebook at Stella Rosa Wines for details on the next episode of Stellabration Education. And these shows will be giving you, like, just how this is like one of my favorites, by the way, even though it's our first, because Annette and Audrey, you guys have been so fun, and you guys at home, I feel like we're hanging out together, which I love. So thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Until next time, salud, salud.
Salud.
Salud.